Okay, this is going to be a two-part video. First part will be marriage risk versus reward, and then the second part is going to be marriage again, a man's prime versus a woman's prime. And when I talk about prime, I mean prime value to the dating marketplace. So I'm gonna try to upload both videos the same day, but that's what the video is going to be about. So this first one is just marriage risk versus reward. Now, so what prompted me to make this video is I had a childhood friend. We've been friends since we were, I don't know, 13 years old, and this guy just crushed life. Straight A's all through high school, straight A's all through college, just made the right decisions, always worked hard, gave jobs 100%, you know, started making six figures in his late 20s and has been making six figures ever since. You know, lives out in California, couple of houses, nice chunky amount in his 401k, living the American dream, like success. I mean, he's literally he's fit. His baby gained 10 pounds since high school, and so he stayed in great shape, and just living it up. The one mistake he made was picking the wrong woman to marry, and that one mistake is almost destroying his life. It's a really sad situation. So out in California, they've been married now, I don't know, 13 years. And she was working when they were married, and he was making so much more than her. She's like, oh, I'll take a little break from working. And that was 12 years ago. She hasn't had a job since. Now, it's common in Orange County, California, if a woman has like a six-figure, seven-figure husband, that you'll frequently see like housewives. Usually they'll have kids after some point, but sometimes they don't. And in his case, he doesn't have any kids, so she's just a housewife. I call her a stay-at-home mom with no kids, you know. And so that's the situation they're in. And so he's like not happy, hadn't been happy for a really long time. And so they're gonna be going through a divorce. He kind of, you know, reached out to a divorce attorney, see what he's up against. And he's about to get destroyed. I mean, he's losing half his 401k, half the equity in the houses, half his money in his bank, and half his paycheck indefinitely. So even after they divorce, he's gonna have to pay her 50% alimony for the remainder of the time he's working, which is gonna be another 20 plus years. Brutal. And so in talking to him about it, we were just kind of like, never really thought about this, but we see what you risk because you're getting destroyed financially, but what was the reward? Like, what did you gain when you got married? So you guys were boyfriend, girlfriend, living with each other. When you went from that to married, that upgrade, what benefits did the guy gain, and what maybe benefits did the woman gain? And so for him, he said nothing improved. If anything, he says they had less sex, and that kind of just gradually went down to where I think he said he's had sex maybe 3 or 4 times within the last 5 years. So that declined. So no aspect of his life from his perspective improved. Now she gained, you know, security and in a relationship, but a guy in a modern relationship, a modern marriage, seems to risk a lot more, but the reward has gone down. Like, you know, 60 years ago it was different. You know, woman didn't live with you till you got married. She may have been a virgin till you got married. You would get kids after you got married. She'd cook and clean, provide, take care of the house. There's a lot of benefits for a traditional marriage back then, in addition to the risk. So you had some risk, but you had some benefits. The benefits for most guys outweighed the risk, but gradually over time with modern relationships and feminism, the risk has kind of gradually gone up and the rewards have kind of gradually gone down. And so if you're living with a woman prior to getting married, then there isn't really a long list of things that are going to improve after getting married. You're kind of already living as husband and wife. It's just the government is not involved in your relationship. And so some important statistics to know. So like most people know, for the most part, women are usually the ones that are nudging for the marriage or giving ultimatums for the marriage or kind of nagging the guy to get married. They're pushing for it, right? Because it's an upgrade in status for the woman. They like the ring, they like the wedding, the pomp and circumstance. I get it. And so if you ask most people, 80 to 90% of the time, it's the woman pushing for the marriage. What you don't know is what happens on the back end. When alimony is paid out 97% of the time, it's paid out from a man to a woman. When it comes to child custody, women win child custody. The courts side with them 9 out of 10 times. When it comes to filing for a divorce, women are filing for divorce 80% of the time, 90% of the time if they're college educated. So on the front end, you have these women pushing for these marriages. On the back end, it's the same people pushing to get out of them. And so the guys are reluctantly going into the marriages. Once they're in, they're committed, and they're not the ones filing for divorce. I think a main reason for it is, and this is not to blame women, they're incentivized financially to end the marriage, whereas guys are punished or penalized if the marriage ends, losing their kids, child support, alimony. And so guys are incentivized to kind of stay together, whereas women are incentivized to leave. There's a financial payday in a lot of cases if a woman leaves. Not only that, a lot of times you can get the guy to pay for your divorce attorney. So it's going to cost the guy his attorney and her attorney in a lot of cases. And so it's risky whenever you're signing a contract of any kind, whether it's business or relationship. If one party is incentivized to break that contract, it's going to be a risky proposition. And so think of it this way. So traditionally, guys were known for providing financial support. Women were known for providing emotional support to relationships. So a guy, put the family ahead of himself financially, take care of the wife, the kids, keep a roof over the head, food on the table. And the woman kind of does the same thing emotionally, puts the family ahead of herself, make sure everyone's taken care of, supports her husband, supports and nurtures the kids. Those were kind of the traditional roles. What happens is, though, now, if you get divorced, the courts are still forcing the guy to do his role after the relationship. Like, okay, your role was financial support. You're still going to provide that for both the kids and the wife. Whereas the woman, if the divorce ends, her role for the guy ends that same time. So it's like she doesn't have to go on and do whatever her role was in their relationship. And so, like, why would a woman stay under those circumstances? Like, imagine your boss came to your job, hey, we love you as an employee, we want you to stay working here, but if you do decide to quit, we're still going to give you your paycheck for the next 20 years. But we don't want you to quit. But if you do quit, you still get paid. Why would that person not quit? I feel like that company would have no employees by the end of the day. So for a woman, if things get rocky, or you have some moments where you're unhappy, trials and tribulations, some ups and downs in a relationship, what's going to happen with any relationship, and then you look at, maybe exiting the relationship and kind of look at your options and like, okay, you're going to get the kids, you're going to get the house, you're going to get half his paycheck, like, and you no longer have to do any of your responsibilities that you currently are, your duties to your man as his wife, but he has to remain doing his financial duties to you even once the relationship ends. That's a lot of incentive to stop the relationship, and so there's a lot of risk for the guy, financial risks, emotional risks, risk of losing his children. But in the modern marriage, there's not a lot of things the guy gains from the marriage. And so that's the downside, is that from a boyfriend-girlfriend situation where you're living together, what aspects of the guy's life is going to improve after marriage? And in a lot of cases, it's nothing. So it's to me, getting married for a guy now is probably the most romantic thing a man could do, only because he risked his entire future with nothing to gain but making this woman happy. There's no other like tangible benefit he can say, okay, this is an aspect of my life that's improved. It's basically all risk and no reward. Now, a lot of marriages make it, so it's not like you're always going to lose, but it's a kind of a break-even proposition or loss, like almost like loaning someone money. If you loan someone money and there's no interest charge, there's no win for you. They pay you back, you broke even. They don't pay you back, you lost. And so to an extent, marriage is kind of the same way. You're either going to break even and maintain what you already had before you got married, or if it ends, you're going to take a loss for a guy. And so that's kind of what it is as far as risk and reward, risk versus reward for marriage. And then the next video I'm going to do, like I said, a woman's prime versus a guy's prime, because that makes a huge difference as it relates to getting married. You know, what's the age range of the woman you're marrying? And there's some important factors to consider there, and that's going to be an interesting video. Until next time, be different.